This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hello, all my feline friends. This is Michelle Fern, host of Cattitude. Okay, today's show, it's all about being green. I know it's a little past Earth Day, but you could always be eco-friendly. Stay tuned. I have a great guest coming up and some great tips for you. We'll be right back.
Tired of wasting money on giant bags, boxes, and jugs of litter that don't last? Switch to World's Best Cat Litter, the only litter that lets you use less and get more. World's Best Cat Litter uses the concentrated power of corn to deliver outstanding odor control and easy cleanup. It's lightweight, 99% dust-free, and pet, people, and planet friendly. It's even flushable. Make the switch to World's Best Cat Litter and save $2. Visit www.saveonworldsbest.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I'd like to introduce my buddy Jessie from World's Best Cat Litter. Welcome, Jessie.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
I'm always excited to talk with you. You know so much about cats and about, the great information that you know about World's Best Cat Litter and how good that is for, our feline friends there that need to use it. So always excited to have you on. Thanks so much for being my guest today.
Yeah, definitely. Super excited.
So let's talk about, being green. I mean, it's not just for Earth Day. It's all the time. I say being green, but, being eco-friendly. And it's important, I think, as pet parents to, and especially as cat parents, feline pet parents, or however you want to say it, to be green also, because cats have a lot of things they use that can, affect the ecology, out there. So it's important, right?
It definitely is. And, a lot of the things that we do with our cats and for our cats, we don't always realize the end impact on the environment. So there's a couple of things that we'll talk about today that will really go over, how you can help to limit those environmental impacts and really create a better lifestyle for you and your cat.
Yeah, and I love these tips. Okay, so everyone, these are some great tips for being a greener cat parent. And I love this one, not to overfeed your pet. And I'd like to also add, well, there's a whole bunch we can add to that. But not only to not overfeed, but you should also buy your cat food, if you use dry cat food, in the largest size you can get, and make sure you use an airtight container.
100%. I think that the important thing here is really the fact that, cats are really picky, and they're a creature of habit, I think, as we all know. So it's not as hard to buy the largest package of whether it's litter or food, and just making sure that you follow the directions on the packaging and also consult your veterinarian, because you want to make sure that you're not overfeeding your cat. And that means, a lot of people think, well, how is that affecting the environment? When you think about it, the more food you have to buy, if you're overfeeding them, that's extra packaging, and it's extra food, extra shopping trips, you're driving to and from the store. So all of these things kind of add up. So if you make sure to buy the largest sizes in both litter and food, and also be cautious about the packaging that the food comes in. Is it environmentally friendly, or is it even recyclable? These are all really important things to keep in mind when you're purchasing food and as you think about the diet your cat is on.
Those are great tips. And I love the fact that not only overfeeding, one, it's wasteful because some of it doesn't ever get used and it just sits out there, but the repercussions of how it can affect your cat for illness, that's wasteful and difficult on your cat's health. It's just like a big no all around. And it does make it less eco-friendly, because if you're overfeeding your cat and then you have to put extra, the cost and the extra efforts as far as medication and all of that into your pet, that's less that you have to put into being a greener pet parent, right?
Definitely. And if you think about it, the long-term cost of overfeeding your pet, there's health issues like you mentioned, and that means vet bills. And I think we can all agree that the less we have to pay for vet bills, the happier we're all going to be.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going. And for all the pet parents out there listening, keep in mind, you have to be good with your cats. Don't overfeed, because that can lead to diabetes, and that vets are seeing an increase in that, in diabetes in cats. And a lot of it has to do with obesity. So all great reasons to not overfeed your feline buddy. Now, here's something talking about all of that food and the sizing and all that. Why not recycle? Recycle your packaging, the cans, all of that can be recycled, right?
Definitely. So if we're thinking about food and packaging, it doesn't stop at just litter and food, which are usually the things that we buy most often for our cats. This can go all the way down to toys that we purchase, or just little items here or there, whether it's flea and tick medicine packaging, any packaging that you buy as it relates to being a cat owner. Just be cognizant about it's recyclable, and if it is, just make sure you're taking that extra step in making sure that you get that into the recycling bin, and understanding that every little bit that you do to help the environment in the long run will help our planet thrive.
And we're going to talk more about this later, but a lot of that packaging can be turned into the best toys for your cats. And we'll get more into that later. But first, Jessie, I would love to talk a little more about our sponsor. So let's talk about, before we go to break, about World's Best Cat Litter. Because I don't know if people know how pet-friendly, it's pet and people-friendly. It's also very planet-friendly and very eco-friendly, because it's made with corn, right? I mean, people listening that haven't heard this, though, how can you make a litter from corn? So tell us, how does that work?
It's a really cool process. So really we take our patented process of compressing that naturally absorbent corn, which a lot of people don't know how naturally absorbent corn is. So that's a fun fact. But really what we do is we concentrate it into really small granules that trap odor deep inside and form really tight clumps on contact. So that's great all around, but the cool part is that means you use less litter. So one of our smallest bags can last, one cat up to 30 days, which is huge, because, instead of going through gallons of litter every month, you're using the very least amount that you have to, but you're also getting that outstanding performance from it. So on top of it being made out of corn, it's also made right here in the U.S., which is great. So we're not importing any of these, large truckloads of corn anywhere else. It's just right in our backyard in the Midwest. So you can use World's Best Cat Litter and know that it is environmentally friendly and also made from naturally absorbent corn. And
I also love that it's very safe. A lot of kittens tend to eat the cat litter because they don't know what it is. And I know World's Best Cat Litter, it's made with corn. It's not going to harm your kitten.
No. So we all know, I think cats and mostly kittens are very curious creatures. So it's natural for them to smell the corn and even taste it. A lot of the time, they just taste it and they're like, all right, I'm all set. And then they use the litter boxes as normal. But you don't have to worry if they ingest any, it's not going to harm them.
And that is most important at all, because then it goes back to saving on the vet bills. Now, stay tuned. We're going to be right back after this message.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, Get one free
at Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm here with my buddy Jessie from World's Best Cat Litter, and we're talking about how to be a more earth-conscious cat owner. So welcome back, Jessie, and welcome back, everyone. So, Jessie, we talked a little bit about World's Best Cat Litter, and, cat litter, I would have to say, now that I am a cat parent to 3 plus 2, because 2 are outdoors. They're community cats. So I never thought I'd have 5 cats, but I do. And the 3 indoor ones use cats in general, I think the thing they consume the most of is litter, even more than food,
Definitely.
right? So being more using an eco-friendly litter is super important.
It definitely is. There's a lot of little steps that we can take to better the environment and better the planet around us. But one thing is really focusing on what do we use most of. So cat owners, just as you were saying, litter is a huge thing that a lot of cat parents go through a lot of, and you don't necessarily have to. So with traditional litters, they don't really break down even in landfills. So what you can consider doing is switching to a litter made with natural ingredients, like World's Best Cat Litter. So our litter is made from whole kernel corn, and we use a patented process, and it really makes super tight clumps and makes the performance just super outstanding, which means you lose that extra litter that you're using with some of the other brands that, come in gallon jugs or huge boxes. Really, you have to use just a few inches at the very bottom of your litter box, and one bag can last one cat 30 days. So in a 5-cat household, or 3 plus 2 outside, you're still not going to go through that much litter if you use World's Best, because of our patented process that makes it so much easier to clean the litter box, so you're not scraping or dumping out the litter box every week. So we like to make products that are easy for cats to use, but also easy on their pet parents, because we know all of the work that goes into being a good, loving cat parent. There's a lot of work that goes into it. So saving that extra step goes a long way.
Yes, definitely does. Now, World's Best Cat Litter, is that septic friendly and sewage friendly as far as for most, for most homes or most places? Or yes, that's another great thing, because it's not going in a landfill. It's going and breaking down in the sewer system, which means it breaks down further. And that's better. I would say that's a lot better for the environment too.
Absolutely. Yep. So it goes 2 ways, I think. The flushability of our product is great for convenience. I think a lot of pet parents, cleaning the litter box is a little bit of a tough job that they don't necessarily want to do. So any way we can make it easier is always, a goal of ours. So if you can flush the litter, it goes straight into your septic system. It's septic friendly, so you're not going to experience any issues. But it also saves you a trip to the trash can or wherever you dispose of your current litter. So just an added bonus, I like to think of it.
Okay, this is a little bit unusual, and I don't know anybody who does this, but I bet you there's people that do. Would World's Best Cat Litter be compost friendly? I mean, I know that there's not just litter when your cat goes in the bathroom with it. There's feces too, which are...
Yeah, so we recommend not doing compost just because of that. I think a lot of people utilize compost in different ways. I've heard of people that have done that before, but it's just a little bit safer if you flush it as opposed to, with everything else in the litter box, putting it in a composter. If you use that on your plants or in other ways in your yard, it's just smart to do some research before.
That's a great answer, because I could see some of our, some people are so eco-friendly, so green, and they're saying, I could probably get made with corn compost, but remember, there's cat feces in there too, and other things, and there's a lot of things that are in feces that should not be near your plants or whatever you're going to do with it. Okay, so now let's get out of the litter box, so to speak, and talk about a couple of other eco-friendly things that we could do as cat owners. And one of them is, invite hand-me-downs. Most cat owners know other cat owners, a little group of cat people, or, a place that's a hospital or a shelter that has cats. Why not donate what your cats don't use? I mean, have you ever bought, right? Jessie, has this ever happened to you? You spent got all these cat toys and you come home with them and they like one thing or two things and the rest they're like, oh, sorry, I'm not interested.
Definitely. I think the biggest thing in our household is you come home with a great new toy and all they want to do is play with the packaging instead. So I think nowadays there's so many different places that you can go to find secondhand products for your cat. So two great places. Obviously, the best known is Craigslist. There's constantly people moving or downsizing and they're getting rid of their cat tree or, maybe some toys or a bed. And a lot of it is in really great condition. And also Facebook Marketplace is a newer sort of database of secondhand items. So people go on the marketplace and list things per category. So the ability to easily identify secondhand items in your community is easier than ever now. And just like you were saying, in the same respect, if you are moving or downsizing or just want to get rid of some things or your cat doesn't like it, it's much easier to give that to a family in need or donate it to a shelter or trade. I mean, I've traded many things on Facebook Marketplace and even Craigslist, and people are so appreciative of secondhand items, especially if it's going to enhance their cat's life.
I love that. And what is that called? Face the Marketplace?
It's on Facebook. So it's kind of like Craigslist, but it's on Facebook. I like it because, Craigslist is a great place, but it's a little bit anonymous. So with Facebook, you can, actually see the person before you buy any items from them. And just a side note for safety, always, always, always meet in a public place if you are buying stuff online. It's really important. But I've bought, numerous pet items off of both Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. And I feel a lot better doing that, knowing that I'm not going out and buying extra things that have extra packaging and all of that. So just one little way you can be a little bit more planet friendly.
Yes, and like you said, there's a lot of local places. There's a site called Nextdoor, and it's basically like your neighborhood. And not only, and I did meet, like you said, I met someone in a public place, and this was not even cat related. I had ink cartridges, then I didn't have a printer anymore. And I said, I don't know if they work. You want to meet me here? And he texted me after, it was fine. But I also, and this is cat related, was able to, when we first moved our studio, there were so many cats around and nobody was fixing the cats. They were just feeding them. So there was, babies, so many. So I got several of the kittens adopted through Nextdoor. But I also found a cat trapper for the mama cat who is now fixed. So there's great information out there with a lot of local apps or, places. So
Definitely.
A lot of great things. And you're so right about, trading on cat toys or buying them. There's so many people, either they buy something and they have no use for it. Their cat won't go into it, like a little house or something like that. And it's much better to trade or buy locally. And it is greener for the environment because it costs less and it's rather than someone dumps it, which means more garbage, more trash in a landfill. It's being repurposed to someone else.
Absolutely. And I think my favorite part that, one thing we haven't mentioned is the fact that you can post on Nextdoor or Facebook or Craigslist sort of an in search of. So you see those posts that say ISO before them, and you can say, hey, is anyone looking to get rid of a cat tree? Or does anyone have an extra cat carrier? Or maybe a backpack or a cat backpack? I feel like there's new technology and new items and accessories hitting the market every day, but you can post a searching for ad and you'll be surprised at how many people look around and say, okay, well, I guess my cat hasn't really used the cat tree in 6 months. Maybe I will give it away. And so I found a lot of items that way as well.
That's a great Great idea. Now, what do you do if you have something instead of in search of? What would you put giving away? Is there like a GA or is there an acronym that you would use instead?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, I post a lot of stuff in free items too. I think Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace and even Nextdoor has a free section. So if you're just looking to get something off your hands, you're not really looking to get any money from it, a lot of the time it helps families that maybe don't have that extra income to trick out their cat's room with trees and, shelving and all of that. So I've actually seen a gentleman post on Nextdoor about the ability for him to come over and build a catio for you. So if you're looking to create an outdoor space for your indoor cat, a lot of the time you can say, hey, I'm searching for someone that can come over and help build this. And maybe it's contractors or construction workers that do some side work that can come over and make a catio for you too.
And your cats will love it because they love, even if you have indoor cats, they love the idea of being outside, even if it's enclosed. It gives them a little bit of the outside without maybe the outside dangers that might be in your area.
Definitely.
So great idea.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since springtime is here and summer's quickly approaching. So cats wanting to be outside are going to be increasing, I think, as the weather improves.
Okay, this is my favorite tip. Make your own cat toys because it is so funny what cats will love. It just boggles the mind how sometimes the traditional toy that you would expect them to love, they have no interest in. And it's like we said before, or I think you maybe mentioned, Jessie, it's the packaging that they're most interested in.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know if it's the crinkle of the plastic or what, but they just get super excited about the packaging and not so much about the neon, feather on a string sort of toy. But I think making your own cat toys nowadays is so easy. With resources like Pinterest and Etsy, you can get a lot of inspiration. You can I've seen cat tent DIYs made out of old T-shirts and cardboard or sort of a box tree. There's different ways that you can coil rope around a leg of a table and it's a scratching post. There's just the opportunities are endless, and whatever you can imagine, I bet you that there's a tutorial on how to do it with Google searches. So I think nowadays it's super easy, and why not? It's fun for you, and I'm sure as you're making the project, I think we can all agree that cats like to be a part of whatever you're doing if it's interesting. So if you're interacting with string and, gluing stuff together, the cat's going to be there right next to you wanting to know what it is you're doing.
It's funny what they like too. My crew, one of the things I find constantly, because we get a lot of samples and different things over at our studio, they love boxes. And I'll find, like, Dennis is big and fluffy. He'll smush himself in the littlest box and just be happy as anything. What do your cats find the best that surprises you?
That's a good question. I think, every cat has his or her own personality, and, I've had probably 6 or 7 cats in my lifetime, and one I know, as long as they could hide and surprise you, they were good. So whether it could be a laundry basket or just a little hiding place, a nook where you put a box in. I've had other cats that love just anything like straws, which was bizarre to me. I think I remember having just a bunch of those neon sort of bendy straws, and just tapping that around on the hardwood floors just kept him entertained for what seemed like hours. So I think a lot of it is just, as a cat owner, you realize, okay, my cat will sit in anything you put on it could be a casserole dish, it could be a box, it could be a shoe, and you can kind of get a sense of what your cat likes and what it interacts with, and kind of go from there and figure out, okay, my cat loves boxes, what can I do? And I've seen many, many DIY projects of sort of maze systems for kittens in boxes where they can go in and out and climb up, and there's some elevation. Cats love elevation, so I think anytime you can experiment with shelving or ways to get them higher up. They feel more comfortable and safe at a higher level, especially if they're, newly rescued and just trying to find a place to calm down. So it really depends, but I think just about anything can entertain a cat.
Yeah. I mean, plastic bags, boxes are on the top of my cruise list, and they're free, and they just, I don't know.
Exactly.
They have a thing for them.
Definitely.
Okay, we're almost out of time, but you know so much about, you're from World's Best Cat Litter. You know so much about litter. I bet cat owners, especially new cat owners, always want to ask this question. Where is the best place to keep your litter box? And we're talking about eco-friendly. Does it make it more eco-friendly to keep it in a certain place of the house versus another place? Or maybe that wouldn't matter. We're stretching it a little there.
I would love for there to be an environmentally friendly place to put a litter box. I wish there was. But I think the important part is just making sure that your litter boxes are placed in sort of a private but also really convenient spot. So you don't want to put your litter boxes up in the attic or far away from where all the action is because, the cat wants convenience, and I think we all do. When it comes to this kind of thing, you want to make sure it's convenient, but also a little bit private so that it's not in the middle of the room, although I don't know anyone that would put a litter box in the middle of the room. If you put it in, a lot of people have extra space in their bathroom. I've seen a lot of litter boxes in bathrooms or even in a bonus room or an extra room that doesn't get very much traffic, but is still away from the thick of it so that when you have guests over, obviously there isn't a litter box right next to the couch. But always important to know the number of litter boxes per cat. So always giving cats options, especially if you're in a multiple cat household, making sure that everybody has a place to go and they don't feel like they're competing over one box.
And then to wrap it up, does World's Best Cat Litter have a litter that is good for multi-cats? Oh, multi-cat.
Yeah.
A multi-cat household?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So we have a lot of different formulas, and when we do that so that we can fit the needs of different cat households. So we have our original series, both our red and green bags. I've heard and spoken to many people who use not necessarily our multiple cat formula with multiple cats, but our red bag is our multiple cat formula, and that is by far the best option for multiple cat households. It also comes in a lavender scent, which is great. I'm a huge fan of lavender, so anything I can get my hands on, including litter, that if it smells like lavender, I'm in. So definitely. But each of our litters is meant to last a long time. So on the back of our packaging, you can check out how long each size bag will last for each cat. But like we said earlier in the interview, I think it's really important, if you can, buy the biggest bag possible just to save on that extra packaging and less trips to the store, which I think everyone can appreciate.
Yes, absolutely. And in closing, where can everyone that's listening out there, all my feline friends, find out more about, we talked about places for where they can find more eco-friendly, tips and ideas, but more about World's Best Cat Litter?
Yeah, so everyone can go to our website, worldsbestcatlitter.com. We have an excellent blog, and I'm not just saying that. We make sure to cover any and all topics as it relates to cats, whether it's new cat ownership or introducing a new cat to your family, all the way to spring cleaning tips and indoor friendly plants for cats. So we cover all of those bases in our Clearing the Air blog that everyone can go check out and sign up for, and it'll come straight to your email inbox, or just check it out. I think there's a lot of great information there for people that are wanting to learn more about how to keep their cat happy, safe, and obviously make their lifestyle more environmentally friendly.
Jessie, thank you so much for coming on Cattitude and telling all my cat friends out there about all of these great tips on how to be a more eco-friendly cat owner, and all of the great information about World's Best Cat Litter as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
What a great interview, and what a great topic. And I would like to thank my crew who is becoming more eco-friendly every day. And that is Dennis and Molly and Charlotte. They're very eco-friendly cats, and they're teaching me to be a very eco-friendly cat mom. Thanks to my producer, Mark Winter, for making me and my guests sound great. Thanks to Jessie from World's Best Cat Litter for being such a great guest on Cattitude. And thanks to everyone listening out there in Cattitude. Send me your pictures of your cats. Tell me about your cats. I love all the info. And you could send that to Michelle at PetLifeRadio.com. Now keep listening. We have so many great new topics coming up and great new discussions on cats coming up. If you have a special topic you'd like to hear about, send me an email. Let me know about it. Thanks so much for listening.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.